Hello everyone. So my name is Rajeshwari. I'm going to explain you on Azure Integration Services. So let's get started. So by the end of this course, what all things you will be able to learn is like why we require Azure, what is integration services, and what are the key services that is required, which tools we are going to use. So these all things we are going to learn in this session. This will be a small interactive session where we will be able to understand why we are using Azure. So, integration services. So, most of you know, like, what is integration services? Integration is nothing but like if a source and destination is available and we are integrating the source and destination with our system and with our services, that is nothing but our integration service. Okay. So, what are the key services that we will be using in this Azure and which tools we will be using? So, that we are going to understand first. So, what is Azure? Why we need Azure? Azure is nothing but a cloud platform that is designed to simplify modern applications. So, whether you choose to host your application entirely in Azure or extend your on premise applications with Azure services, Azure helps you to create scalable, reliable, and maintainable applications. So, what do you mean by scalable, reliable, and maintainable applications? So, for example, if you see a scenario, so where you want the services to be scaled. So, for example, there's a lot of load happened, lot of traffic is coming, and you want to hold it. So that scales automatically without like you need to just mention how much scale you want and how the scalability will be depending on the load which is coming inside our application. So it will scale based on that and how reliable it is and how maintainable the applications can be. So this all things Azure will help us. Azure also supports the most popular programming languages which is in already in use today, that is Python, JavaScript, Java, .NET, and so on. With a comprehensive SDK library and extensive support in tools like VS Code, Visual Studio, IntelliJ, Eclipse. So Azure is designed to take advantage of skills you already have and make you productive immediately. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. What is Azure Integration Services? Azure Integration Services bring together API management, logic apps, service bus, and Event Grid as a reliable, scalable platform for integrating on-premise and cloud-based applications, data, and process across your enterprise. So we can build new integrated solutions that connect applications and services on-premise and in the cloud. Bring your business workflows together so they are consistent and scalable. Expose your APIs for developers and create opportunities for new business models. So, now we are going to understand the tools that are required to create an application in Azure. So, what are those tools? So, we'll go one by one each of the step. So, first is like, so there are many services which I informed in the earlier step. So these are the services which is you are able to see in the right side. So that is Logic App, Service Bus, API Management, Event Grid, Azure Functions, Data Factory. So these are all the services which will be used to integrate the applications in Azure. So what are logic apps? How we will be creating the logic apps? That you will be able to know create while creating the workflows. So whenever source is we are receiving the request from the source that and how we are integrating and how we are sending to the destination. So that we will be creating in a workflow pattern. That is nothing but a step-by-step procedure which is built inside an application in the workflow format. So that we will be building in the logic apps. So for that, what you want to do, so you need to create a workflows and orchestrate the business process to connect hundreds of services in the cloud and on-premise. Okay, it can be done in the cloud and it can be in the on-premise. So we are seeing now in cloud environment. Service service bus. So what is service bus? Why we need it? Okay, service bus is to implement the highly secure messaging workflows. Okay, so this, what is this explanation says is like connect on-premise and cloud-based applications and services to implement highly secure messaging workflows. You can be that can be used by using the service bus. The next comes is API management. API management is used to publish your APIs securely for internal and external developers to use when connecting to backend system hosted anywhere. So for example, you have an API and you want to secure it like with any of the authentication type. So this adds a top level of layer to the API so that when any request or traffic comes to your application, it is being secure. So this can be done by using the API management. Next comes the event grid. Connect. What is event grid? It connects supported Azure and third-party services using a fully managed event routing service with a publish subscribe model that simplifies event-based app development. Why do we use publish and subscribe model here? Because so publish and subscriber model is nothing but whenever data is published into the event grid, like data is being sent to the event grid, that is nothing but the publisher, and subscriber is whoever is subscribing the data from the event grid, like whoever is receiving the data from the event grid. So this is also one kind of service which is being used in Azure. Next comes the Azure Functions. Azure Function is a serverless compute service that enables users to run event trigger code. The main advantages of this Azure Functions is like it saves the cost. Apart from the logic apps, functions are very cheaper, we can say. So it simplifies the complex orchestration problems with an event-driven serverless compute platform. We can write a code for complex operations and we can use a less code in the functions as well. Next comes the data factory. Azure Data Factory visually integrate data sources to construct ETL and ELT process and accelerate data transformation using 90 plus pre-built connectors to manage data pipelines and support enterprise applications. Now we came to the end of this session, but before that I am going to show you how this each application service looks like. So this is a logic app, service bus, event hub, storage account, application insights, event grid, API management, Azure functions, and Azure data factory. Each of these service we will be learning in a detailed manner in the coming session. So what are we going to learn in the coming session is how to build a logic app or each of the service from scratch, and also how we can use it in a project level and how to integrate the system with these services that we are going to look into the in the next chapter. So stay tuned. All the best for the coming session. Thank you.